right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar where we are introducing the First Plus Two project and a scholarship that's specific to young women with a STEM background. We are so excited about launching this event in Ghana and talking about the partnerships and how you can access this wonderful opportunity for yourself. I'm going to start by introducing Digital Frontiers, and then we have an array of speakers who are fintech experts in Ghana who will speak about the project and how you can participate, as well as give you their own stories of how they have interacted with Digital Frontiers from a cost perspective and how that impacted their careers. So we're so happy that all of you have joined, and we're looking forward to a good session. Just to introduce myself, my name is Tari Ronimo, and I am Head of Stakeholder Engagement and Fundraising at Digital Frontiers. I'm going to start by talking about Digital Frontiers itself, and then I will try and hand over to Tutu, who will introduce himself. He's from Cape Plus Exchange, a team that is based in Accra. And then he will introduce Cape Plus and the First Plus Two project a little bit before we get into other parties such as the Digital Finance Practitioners Ghana and what they do and how they are associated with Digital Frontiers and how they will also be participating in this project. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen as a start. And introduce Digital Frontiers. Okay. So let me know when it's full screen. Someone can just let me know it's full screen and not yet.
Okay, we can see, but it's not in a slide mode.
Right. Okay, so it's in a slide mode now.
Yes, full screen.
Okay, great. So I'll start by introducing Digital Frontiers. Digital Frontiers is a company that works at the intersection of capacity building and SDGs or SDG innovations. So the Digital Frontiers Institute is the wing within Digital Frontiers that delivers the capacity building programming, right? So we are based in Cape Town, and our programs really cut across the globe, but we have up to 60% of our reach within sub-Saharan Africa. So our context and knowledge or ecosystem within Africa is very huge. So we have programming that cuts across themes such as inclusive finance, gender equality, instant and inclusive payment systems, and inclusive digital economies. So this is, in this programming, what we're doing is we're building professionals, right? And in financial inclusion or inclusive finance, so it's not just finance, it's not just access to finance, but it's inclusive finance, and it's not just payment systems, right? And we'll get into details about this kind of programming with the focus on financial inclusion or building financial resilience for the ecosystem. So not just payment system, but inclusive payment systems, not that digital economies, but inclusive digital economies. So those are some of the programs that that Digital Frontiers has. Now, this is usually targeted at professionals. So people who've already done some work, who've gone through tertiary education and are working within a bank or within a financial service, a microfinance, or even a non-bank institution that might be serving like credit unions or SACCOs, those kind of organizations are where our professionals or our reach would come from for the financial inclusion themes. So, and I know I'm talking to, and I hope I'm talking to a lot of young people, young women in Ghana who are interested in fintech. And fintech is financial technology. I think it's a combination of finance and technology. So in this field, this exciting field, we use technology to provide financial services, and we use it to really reach the underserved. So we'll be talking about, when we say underserved, it usually means women or low-income women, or the hardest to reach groups that may be in rural areas. And when we talk about rural areas, we usually talk about farming activities, and that's where the smallholder farmers or serving micro to medium or small to medium enterprises might come in. So we're looking at people who are possibly in the informal economy. And when we're talking on an African context, we know that especially women, they participate in the informal economy for several reasons, right? And so there has been a drive, I think, within Sustainable Development Goals to ensure that we include these hard-to-reach women and let them participate in formal systems such as formal financial services. And we do that through technology. And I know mobile money is big in Ghana. So these are some of the innovations or examples of ways in which technology and finance has been launched to reach underserved groups. So what happened for this project is we are under a consortium that is under Cap Plus Exchange. And I'm going to let Cap Plus speak a little bit later after my presentation. I'll check if Tutu is there for him to introduce himself and speak a little bit more about this fantastic opportunity. And this opportunity is in its second stage. This second stage is where we're being very intentional about bringing in young women and creating opportunities for them to explore new kind of career options, or getting them work ready for career options around the inclusive finance ecosystem, right? Because the bigger project is really strengthening financial services, especially those that are serving underserved groups. Then I'm going to move now into introducing the certified digital finance program. Oh, hi, Tutu is here, which is great. I'm going to talk about now some of the programs that our specific First+2 inclusive finance program falls under, right, within Digital Frontiers. Okay, just go to the next slide. So in Digital Frontiers Institute, remember Digital Frontiers Institute is sort of like a school that delivers these courses. And our courses are certified by universities, meaning that within Digital Frontiers Institute, we have partnerships with universities. So the Certified Digital Finance Practitioner, so it's a certification within digital finance, and then you're certified as a DFS practitioner for that certification or endorsement is with the Fletcher School within Tufts University. Now, this school is a famous school around policy and sort of really global affairs, and it's the one that has that certification for the CDFP program. Now, CDFP short for Certified Digital Finance Practitioner. This is an array of courses. Really, it's got up to 22 in the portfolio, but we've segmented them or divided them into 3 sectors. One that deals with financial regulation, and we'll talk about regulating financial services. We then get into the central bank. So people or professionals within Bank of Ghana who are passionate, who have the mandate to bring in an enabling environment, right, for financial institutions. And they might have financial inclusion so that no one is excluded in the financial system, strategies or mandates that they give the sector as they do this regulation. And the regulation can be about agent networks. So when you're interacting with agents for your Momo money, and those guidelines of how those agents can operate and interact with you are given by the central bank in order to have a system that protects the customer, and consumer protection issues lie very much within the central bank mandate. So professionals such as these are the ones who would take some of the courses. The Certified Digital Finance Practitioner Program has courses for this kind of segment because it's an important segment within the ecosystem. And then within the Certified Digital Finance Practitioner Program as well, we have a segment where we focus on customers and use cases. Now, this is an important one, and it actually has a lot of our courses that fall under this bracket. This is where we are saying that the financial sector as a whole needs to design relevant products that suit the different segments in the market. And these segments can include the woman customer. Okay, so the audience or the target audience for this program and for this webinar is really young women. And we need to understand that there are different types of women. I mean, the women that you will hear in this webinar that are speakers, that's a different segment of women, and they have their different needs. But then we have other women, they're different segments. Then we have the other women the theme that I've been talking about that are underserved, which might include smallholder farmers. And why I come back to smallholder farmers is because the First Plus Two project in itself has an agri focus, has an agri value chain focus. So you will see that even the training or the impact and outcomes that we want are related to the agricultural sector. Now, the sector can be served in so many ways, including by the financial services themselves. Even the big banks, the Pan-African banks like EcoBank have products that would serve the agricultural sector, as well as other microfinance institutions, fintechs, mobile network operators. All of this sector also has to reach the agricultural sector and serve it in many ways, and other vulnerable groups, including youth as well, and young women as well. So this is the segment within the Certified Digital Finance Practitioner Program that would focus on serving and creating use cases that are specific to some groups or relevant to women. Okay, and then the other leg of the Certified Digital Finance Practitioner Program includes the technology and operational enablers. This is where we're looking at innovations that come within financial services that disrupts the market. This can be launching mobile money. Mobile money in itself, the growth from its launch in the early 2000s. And if we're talking about the launch of mobile money, we look at Kenya and how they did it, right? So those are some of the examples that if you're trying to understand how to launch a mobile network operator, you would get to understand within our courses. We also have AI courses, we also have blockchain courses, but this is just to give you an overview of the portfolio of courses that is there for financial inclusion that is offered by Digital Frontiers Institute. Now, Digital Frontiers Institute has created a specific journey for the First Plus Two Inclusive Finance project. Now, this journey has courses that are carefully selected from the CDFP portfolio, that is the inclusive finance portfolio that I've been explaining. I'll now move on to the set of these courses. Okay. All right. So these courses that we're offering to young women in Ghana, young women with the curiosity in fintech, who want to understand more, who want to join this kind of career, is what I'm going to be talking about now. So actually, I wanted to stress that Digital Frontiers, especially this program in inclusive finance, we've had it for the past almost 10 years, right? So it's something that we're known for. So the training that you receive is very reputable. Once you get it on your CV, banks in Ghana, banks outside Ghana, banks across the continent and abroad recognize that you've been trained and you understand what is required, or you have that capability or that skill that is required to work in a BFS product division within a bank or within a microfinance or within a mobile network operator. So it really is something that we know will open up doors for you. So this is a great opportunity for you to get that qualification, and you will hear more about this qualification and what it does when we get into the panel discussions. So I'm just going to briefly talk about the 5 courses that we are launching in this product that if you get a seat onto the scholarship program, you will have to participate in, and what sort of outcomes we think you would get from these courses. Okay, so I'll start with the MSME finance course. Now, the MSME finance course is you get to understand what micro and small to medium enterprises, how they are defined, right, within countries. And then you'll get to know about the financing gap. There is a financing gap that is known globally. It's trillions of dollars. And this is usually for those that are even the microfinance or micro institutions or companies that are registered. When we get to those who are unregistered, that financing gap widens. So you need to understand why we have this unmet need of people that require money who are in the informal sector. So it will give you that introduction into this informal sector and how there is an unmet need, and then we'll get into how to meet the needs. Now, this is important if you're going to work within, let's say, a microfinance or any kind of financial services provider who is targeting some vulnerable groups or some hard-to-reach groups. This kind of understanding will make any employer understand that, no, you understand the context. So what you bring to the team or what you bring to the financial sector is that understanding and that knowledge of how to interact with this informal economy, what the informal economy had, the challenges that have been faced, and how other countries, including Ghana, have tried to solve for this sector. So this is under customer and use cases. So it's one of the courses that you will participate in should you get a seat onto this program. And then I can talk about, let's say, digital finance for all. Digital finance for all is focusing on, again, the actual products now within the informal economy. So we saying let's design credit products, right? We're talking about an access to finance gap. That means there is people who need credit, people who need a cushion in their business, but they are unable to get that cushion from the formal financial system because of several reasons, which you would learn if you're part of this course. And then now we're saying, okay, let's delve into the different kind of products, especially credit products that can be designed for a group of people or entities that are deemed risky, right? There's a level of risk for several reasons. And then we find a way to quantify that risk in a way, or alternative information. For example, collateral is a big issue. When we say collateral, it's hard assets, right? Sometimes that is required. And women, for several reasons, or even just micro businesses, might not have the extent of collateral to present to a bank that might be required. But it still doesn't mean that they can't participate or they can't become good credit participants. So there's a different way, or there's a design way of providing services to this system. And this is what we can learn within digital finance for all. I think it's implied in the name, digital finance for all. Some of the outcomes that we want is for you to kind of know how to play around with pricing issues, how to look at data, financial data, and use those patterns to get information about a particular customer, which is something that is done within credit scoring. So it really it will launch you into a specific inclusive credit scoring division within a financial services provider. Okay, and then when we talk about digitizing agriculture, now digitizing agriculture has that focus on the agricultural value chain and how digital products can serve, especially from financial services providers, can enhance the livelihoods of those who are in this great sector. So we'll be talking about case studies from Ghana, case studies from Kenya, case studies around the world of how markets have digitized agriculture in order to enhance productivity for the farmer themselves, access to markets, access to finance, and other things that affect the value system. So I think this one is a great course, still focusing on customers and their use cases that you can learn. So it's part of the learning that we're expecting from this course, right? And then the product management and product development and innovation is really what we think is the start of the program. So if you're joining this scholarship seat, the first course that we think you should start with is the product management course. Now, in this course, it's sort of like giving you that skill to run projects, right? Because product development is a life cycle. Project management involves a life cycle. And then when we bring in the focus on fintech or financial services, we look at it, we see how markets have developed and launched such projects. So I think it's an all-inclusive, very important skill that will enhance the teaching that you've already had if you are in between a tertiary education and just finishing your national certificate, or even if you're just starting in your career in inclusive finance. So these are some of the courses that we'll go through. And then the last one is the agent networks. Now, this course was developed in partnership with an organization that researched around 5 countries across the globe, how they do their agent networks. Now, when we're talking about agents, we're talking about those agents that will deliver financial services on behalf of a big bank or another financial institution. So they come in between where financial service providers aren't able to reach. They're very close to the community. So it's people that are known, people that are trusted, and they provide that first point of contact for those that haven't really dealt with digital financial services. I think agents started off selling airtime, but now agents are doing much more, including offering financial services to those who in places where banks or traditional fintechs or even microfinances are. So they are the ones that are closer to groups and so form the distribution network within financial inclusion. Okay, so I think I have talked a lot about the courses that we are on offer. this is the exciting opportunity that we are giving young women in Ghana. And this opportunity falls under a program that we're saying is called First+2, Financial Institutions Resilience and Strengthening. I'm going to ask now a representative from CAP Plus, who's launching the project in Ghana, to give us that context of what the project is and what's on offer for young women in Ghana. So, Tutu, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and give our participants that context. I'm handing over to you, Tutu.
Thank you, Tariro. I think I don't know if I'm on.
Yes, we can see the screen.
My video is also on, so I don't know if the technical hitch is from my end or from.
Okay, but we can hear you. Please go ahead. It's fine.
Good evening to all the participants and then the speakers. So my name is Tutu Kwachi, and on the First+2 program, I sit as the team lead for industry building and enabling environment. I'm excited with all that Tariro has already said. So I'll just try and give you a bit of context with First+2, the program. So First+2 is actually an acronym that when we break it down, it actually stands for Financial Institution Resilience and Strengthening. So this was born out of First+1, which was a pilot program fully funded by MasterCard, and that ran for 2 years. So after the 2 years program, MasterCard thought it wise now to roll a full-fledged program that is a scale-up, as I initially mentioned. So First+2 is a 4-year MasterCard Foundation program, which started in 2024 and is expected to end in 2028. This program is implemented by Capital Plus Exchange in partnership with some consortium of partners that we've put together. That includes Bank of Ghana, Ghana Microfinance Institutions Network, GAMFIN, Opportunity International, Ghana Federation of Disabilities, GESAL, and OICO Credit. So these are consortium partners that we're working with to make sure that we drive home the main objective of this program. So as I initially hinted, the First+2 program is an integrated ecosystem development program to increase dignified jobs and well-being among the youth. And with MasterCard's definition of youth, the youth age bracket lies between 15 to 35 years. And I mentioned dignified jobs. So this program seeks to enable the creation of about 307,000 youth jobs, especially for women. So this is all the talking that Tariro did, everything, when we put it together, it must point to this very huge number. And with respect to the program target, we're using this program to help farmers, processors, and others who are in agriculture and agric-adjacent value chains. And we are doing this with the hope of targeting some regions, and the regions they cut across from Kumasi, Eastern Region, Greater Accra, Western North, Volta, Bono, and then the Central. And in trying to also achieve this great objective, there are four key drivers that we are using as vehicles to be able to make sure that we accomplish this great feat. And the first being business development services. Business development services, what I mean by that is we're trying to increase farmers and entrepreneurs' revenue by building their businesses and agricultural acumen. And then we are supporting this with the next key driver, which is financial institution transformation. With this, we want to equip rural banks, that is rural community banks, savings and loans, and other non-bank financial institutions to successfully deliver financial services to women, youth, smallholder farmers, and MSMEs. And then another interesting driver that we thought it wise to add up to this list is an internal term that we call nimble capital. So nimble capital, it's more of looking at a catalytic funding source that can be used in unlocking a lot of, as an impact capital to accelerate MSMEs and agricultural finance at more affordable interest rates. And then the final driver is enabling environment and industry building, where we are trying with this program to expand the capacity and capabilities of key Ghanaian organizations to ensure ongoing delivery of BDS and financial institution transformation for the years to come. So this is where what we're doing with digital frontiers institution sits. As in, we believe that through this collaboration, we are going to equip the capabilities of the youth, and for that matter, women, through this digital finance training. And in that, we are going to increase their employability and at the same time create an enabling environment where, women and youth, for that matter, will thrive. And so I think that this is where I'll just end my quick intro of what the program is all about, because there are a lot of speakers lined up. But if there are any follow-up questions, maybe by asking the questions, it will open up a lot of things for discussion. So I think, I'll just hand it over to you.
Thank you, Tutu, for introducing CAP Plus Exchange and introducing the First Plus Two program that has this opportunity for young women with a STEM background who are curious about digital financial services. Now, in this partnership as well, we're working with an association for digital finance practitioners in Ghana. Now, what happens is within our inclusive finance portfolio, we have a community of practice that would convene around this theme, and they have formally formed an entity or a legal entity that spearheads or has a mandate for financial inclusion in Ghana, in the country, and it's an association of professionals. So I'm going to hand over to Nana to give that introduction and also talk about how they will be supporting the First Plus Two project, especially for the young women in STEM.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tayo. I hope I can be heard.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. So good evening to everyone in the call. It's good to see that we have very good participation from a lot of the young ladies in there. So largely, what Digital Finance Practitioners Ghana does is we are an association of individuals who have been to some course with the Digital Frontiers Institute. And this association looks to foster an environment for collaboration and engagement around digital finance practitioners in Ghana, within the country. And so our members span across the whole fintech and finance ecosystem. We have bankers, we have those engaged in consultancy, we have those in fintech, we have those within agriculture. So it's quite expansive, and those within IT. For this specific program, working with CAPLAS and DFI, Digital Finance Practitioners Ghana is helping with the management and coordination of the project. So along this project, we have a lot of engagement with a lot of the young ladies. Some of these opportunities that will come up, we'll be looking to ensure that we can provide some sort of mentorship, some help, and also we'll have access to the association and some of the resources that we have. To the association, you have access to a lot of resources, people who can help with your journey to become, as you become digital finance practitioners. And even after your studies, mentorship becomes very important within your studies to help you even to navigate the courses, because a lot of people within the association have been through these courses. After you're done with your course also, the network also helps even as you move into the field of work, have other opportunities. You need some of these contacts and these networks even as you try to excel in the various roles. So that's where we come in as digital finance practitioners. And I think much later on this call, we'll be introduced to Eunice, who's our project coordinator, working with the two institutions here. And I know that we believe at within the Digital Finance Practitioners Ghana in the power of women. We are really keen and very, very enthusiastic about gender equity, gender equality, and giving opportunities to young girls. We believe that you are the future. And I must say that for almost all of us within the community, we are certified digital finance practitioners and also certified gender change leaders. I have both certifications, and trust me, it has been a very, very key changer and a turning point in my career. So we'll be looking forward to this program, and I'm very excited and enthusiastic and anticipating what it's about. Thanks, Dario.
Thank you, Nana. So DFP Ghana, in short, will be hosting events that our young women who are participating in this program will be able to join, right? In different, these are in-person events. So it's like a conference where you get to meet people in the industry, where you get to learn what's happening in the industry, where you get that opportunity to also join the conversation, the financial inclusion conversation, using the skilling that you would have got from our courses. Now, I'm going to introduce, or I will let the program coordinator, the First Plus Two program coordinator, introduce herself, and then we'll get into a panel discussion, just so you can hear many voices of people who've interacted with Digital Frontiers, who've taken up a journey that you can also take up and how that affected their career. We'll also hear about opportunities for youth engagement and much, much more from this team. So Asante, I'll hand over to you. Please do introduce yourself and then to introduce the panelists.
Thank you, Thariro, and good evening, everyone. My name is Eunice Asantwankuma. I am a certified digital finance practitioner and a certified gender change maker, and I am the programs coordinator. I think 2 weeks ago, I posted on LinkedIn that I've been called the FinTech girl. But what excites me most about this program is that now, when I get to be part of a program that is going to train more FinTech girls, the opportunity in the fintech space, opportunities are enormous, because we always talk about the fact that there is a gender gap in the usage of financial services. If we don't have a lot more women in there helping with the products development, helping to understand so that we can contribute to making the product what we women can use, then what have we gained? So this program gives you the opportunity to understand the fintech industry in Ghana, and then it exposes you to the various career opportunities there. My background is in communications, and today I sit here and I'm talking about fintech because I took the opportunity that comes with taking a program from Digital Frontiers Institute. So I am happy to be here. And this evening, my panel's whole objective is to encourage you, let you see the other side, hear from other female fintech or fintech practitioners or professionals in the fintech space, so that you can be encouraged. And when we open the registration lines, you would put in your application. Joining me would be Dr. Melissa Baba, like in no particular order. Dr. Melissa Baba works in the fintech industry. She has over 16 years experience in payment systems, interoperability, mobile money management, and you name it. And she's currently a lecturer at Southampton University in the UK. So Dr. Baba, if you can, let me see your face. I think I can't see your camera.
Okay, so I've turned on my camera.
Okay, all
I
right.
hope others can see me. It'll be
Yes.
nice to see me as well.
Yeah, and happy
Thank you for the
birthday. Let me introduce the others and then we can
Thank
have
you.
that conversation. And then my second panelist is Barbara Minta Mafo. Barbara is a seasoned banker. She's a certified digital finance practitioner. She's also a fintech lady. She's a gender change maker. And she currently works with EcoBank and she has several years of experience in banking. Barbara, thank you so much for joining me. I have Joseph Darko. Joseph is with Caplas. And Joseph would be doing a brief introduction about their youth engagement program, and then we can start with the panel discussion. You heard from Nana Yao, the man who is a gender change maker, very exciting. Nana Yao would also be joining us on the panel. He's also a seasoned banker. He works with Fidelity Bank. He's the head of e-banking. And so if you have all these people here, and our objective is to encourage you and motivate you to see the opportunities that lie ahead of you so that you would be hungry for this course, that when we open the application, you would quickly apply and tap into all the knowledge and the opportunities that are there. At the last presentation, we heard that the future of finance is female. So this is your opportunity, and I hope you enjoy our discussion. Joseph, are you ready to do your brief presentation before we start the panel discussion?
Yes, I'm ready. And
All right.
Good evening to everyone. I am sharing my screen right now.
Okay.
And if you can see the screen, let me know.
Yes, we can see your screen, Joseph, but it's not in a presentation mode. So if you can put it in a presentation mode.
Hope it is now.
Yes, it is.
Good evening once again to all of our young ladies and our participants. My name is Joseph Darko, and I am with Caplas, and on the Caplas program, I am the Youth Engagement and Partnership Lead. My job primarily is to make sure that all that we do about the youth or with the youth is properly focused. And my role is just a small bit of the bigger part. This project has 4 components: an access to finance component. We have a business development services component. We have industry building component, and we have the enabling environment component. Under the enabling environment component, that is where I find myself. However, all the discussions we put together is to make sure that our focus to reach the youth is attained. So our youth program or approach is to build the capacity of young people in general. But this project has a focus. Unfortunately for the boys, this project is biased for women, and we should understand why. Because of the gaps that exist, because of the inequalities, because of the inequities that exist, because of the long years of not necessarily paying attention to the growing women and the absence of clearly focused activity to support them to be actively inclusive in the the mainstream of of the economy and in the financial sector. There is this deliberate effort to attempt to bridge the gap. So we are looking at how to make the youth take a center stage in this project, both in terms of participants, facilitators. Our approach even includes ensuring that the young people, if there's the need for us to do a downstreaming of activities, they are the ones who are supposed to receive the training. So, for example, as you are receiving this training, if you are lucky to have a seat, and in the future, there is a plan for us to have maybe a digital hackathon or program for young people. Maybe may have to come back to the alumni and say who is competent within this so that we can enroll the person to support it, to support a class approach. So you are not just going to be receiving this training for the sake of it. There's various shades and angles from which your participation and certification would lead you to. And one of them, I think Nana broadly elaborated on. We want to focus on amplifying the voices of the young people. There is no space or very limited space for us to actively engage the youth and enhance their visibility. It's young people are doing wonderful things, but you hardly hear, you hardly see in enterprises and even in the fintech world. Young people are doing great job, but maybe how many people we know that they exist? So our program, as we work together with all our partners and through the consortium, we want to highlight and to enhance the young people, create opportunities for them to take their place. Because from 35, there are a lot of young people who have actually cut their teeth. They already have expertise and experiences. What is missing is the connection, the ecosystem, the environment that needs to be created for them to be able to perform. And that is where CAPLAS, our youth program or approach or method, seeks to address. We have already looked at the age, as we said, focusing on the specific range that we will be focusing on. We will be determined to ensure that males are included. Our target overall is to reach 70% of women, girls, or
Hi,
let me say
Joseph.
females.
Hello, Joseph. A quick
Yes.
one. Could you please be wrapping it so that we can start the.
All
I
right.
don't
Okay.
there's 2 minutes to wrap up so that we can.
Okay. Let me just wrap it up. So what I want to say here is uh, our intention is to build the capacity of young people and create leadership opportunities. We will have and the intention is to create linkages when we have done the training from all the paths that we have discussed, create the linkages that provide the needed support to enhance their enterprise. So I would just want to say, let me thank you for this. Maybe if there's later on a question going on or a question happens, probably I'll be able to address this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I think I'll come back to you with some questions on the presentation. But I'll start with Melissa first. I mentioned earlier that our objective here is basically to encourage you and let you see reasons why this program is very important for you. So Melissa, I would come to you. Can you share your journey into the fintech industry with us? And can you briefly let us know what really inspired your career in the fintech industry? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Eunice. So I started working with the National Payments Company. I'm sure a few people know it, GIPS. in 2008. And at that time, I would say was the prelude to the fintech era we see today. And I find myself, I got to evolve with the industry. As changes occurred, I got to be part of it in so many diverse ways, working in business development, working in operations, working in clearinghouse, in working in various capacities. But one thing stood clear, okay, through this journey from 2008 till last year when I left, was that there was a skills gap that was lacking, because there was this entirely new industry that was emerging, which is the fintech field as we have it. And for most people, when we say fintech, what comes to mind is mobile money and different forms of digital payments. And that industry was new to those who were bringing it in, and those of us that were already there in terms of traditional banks. And so, based on an advice from a mentor who had been speaking to understand what career path would be suitable for me, one, to keep my job, but then to grow, then DFI came up in the conversation. Mind you, my senior high school background is in home economics. And I say this particularly because a lot of us look down on home economics as a course in secondary school. I did too. I remember crying a lot in the first term in the Brig Girls when I was assigned home economics. But then it was no barrier. And I say this because you may think that having this conversation with us regarding fintech, finance sounds so big. Technology sounds even bigger. You've seen all the wonderful courses that DFI does, and you are going to be asking yourself, but I did home econs, or I did literature, or I did biology, science, and so I may not fit in. No. As I build my story, you would see where you fit in and that this is an opportunity for you. So based on this conversation I had with my mentor at BOG and the recommendation to sort of check out DFI, I looked up the company, and luckily there was an offer to do, like you're getting today, a sponsored or a scholarship to take one of the modules. And so I hooked up with Eunice. I was like, oh, this sounds exciting. Let's do it together. So we both applied and we got on. And it was amazing. For me, the courses were so practical. Like, it was so relatable. And you could sort of adapt the principles to your local context. So it was so relatable. It sort of answered so many key questions I had running through my mind, even though I had worked in various capacities. And I could see a direct translation from the knowledge I was earning or learning to the work I was doing. I myself could tell that my work was changing. And so we both became advocates. We told other colleagues. We took on other courses, invested in some. But the good thing is that DFI constantly has this scholarship opportunity for ladies. And so we took advantage of that. And for me, it sort of fed into my work. It fed into my career progression, because then I realized, okay, this is an interesting field. What can I do in addition? And that's why I began my PhD journey. It strengthened that PhD journey, of course. It deepened my understanding of fintech. And my PhD really was looking at the fintech field. And now that I'm in academia, it's an entirely new world, because I can carry that knowledge with me. And so I come back to the fact that you may think that your background in terms of education, in terms of your work experience, might not be a fit. It is a fit. So long as you have to pay for something and receive payment, you're an ideal candidate for this course. All right. And it's a growing industry. It's a huge industry. It's not limited to just Ghana. You can be a fintech professional literally anywhere. Today, even in the UK, in other European countries, in America, digital banks are the norm. When I came here, it took Barclays 3 months to get me an appointment to open a bank account. It took Revolut, which is a digital bank, an hour to give me a bank account. And so that became my first bank account for my employer. It took so much effort for me to move from from Revolut to Barclays in terms of taking my salary. And the only reason I moved was because I needed to get some benefits that Barclays offers. And so I encourage you to take this course, because Revolut, even in using products like digital bank products and other mobile financial services, you would see that there's a difference in the way the product, even though it's banking, is delivered to you, the way they engage you as a customer. And these are skills you can get very easily from DFI, making you more eligible for the workforce. So I hope that my story sort of encourages you to take this seriously.
Yeah, it does, Melissa. I think you touched on mentorship. So I would go to Barbara with this question. Melissa just highlighted how her discussion with the mentor helped her to pick up a career and in fintech or try Digital Frontiers Institute. Barbara, I know you have done the certification from Digital Frontiers. How has mentorship, helped your journey? How did you arrive at that decision to want to, because you're already in banking. So somebody say you're already a banker. Why would you want to understand the fintech industry again? So your question is, why did you want to understand fintech, even though you were in banking? And how has mentorship helped shape that journey for you?
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Asante. Am I visible? Am I visible?
You are visible, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you so much. So for me, I'll say that Digital Frontiers is my unique identity. If you ask me, I'll not say I'm a banker. I'll say I'm a certified digital finance practitioner. I'm a certified gender change maker, and I'm so proud of it because even in banking, you don't even have some of these titles that you can be so proud of. But if we are talking about mentorship is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Research shows that successful proteges are also successful mentors, and almost every mentor also have another mentor. So mentorship is very, very important in life. Mentorship built my capacity. So during the time where I discovered Digital Frontiers, Ophelia Ama Oni was my mentor then. She encouraged me. She was my accountability partner where we both take courses and make sure we finish, and we applied for scholarship. One of the most exciting things that I ever experienced was a course that was a whole 1,500 and I paid $100. Had never seen a huge sponsorship like that before. And I was just sitting behind my computer and applying for a scholarship, and it came to pass. All through a mentor who was taking me through the process she had also gone through. Mentorship can guide you in your whole life to know what to do. It gives you a clear vision. But one thing that we always miss, a mentor is not a coach. Usually, you, the mentee, you are supposed to follow up with your own progress. You are supposed to make sure you are getting all the attention from your mentor. In most cases, you can see an admirable woman that you want to be like, and you can approach the person and say, I want to be your mentor. But you are supposed to be accountable for that progress and make sure you tap into that person's experience.
Barbara, now, let me stay with you again. These young girls are going to be exposed to the programs that we are going to offer them, the scholarship opportunities. Are there female mentors who would help them currently in Ghana? And I know you're also the treasurer for the Practitioners Association here in Ghana. That's the Digital Finance Practitioners. Are there female? Can you give us an assurance so that if they are listening to, they know that when I finish the program, there are women who would mentor me, who would hold my head. Are there female professionals available to support them on this journey as we encourage them to go with us?
There are numerous of them. There are several of them ready and available to support your progress. So all you have to do is to find that mentor, book that meeting, and start your progress. Yeah. So I'll say there are several of them. It's a whole association with over 200 members in the alumni. So you can always have people to help. One of the things that I really enjoyed when I was learning was the community of practice. The community of practice is more like a study group or some small group that explains into details whatever you have been taught in the class or virtually or you've learned on your own. Then you are able to discuss with your group to know and understand everything that you have learned.
Thank you, Barbara. And let me add here that once you get onto the program, we are going to have the same community of practice available to you. and we would meet, we would encourage you. You'd have access to mentors. We would plan sessions and in-person meetings where you have mentors come and talk to you about the opportunities that are in there in the fintech space. So you will not be lost. You would be carried, we will carry you, like you know how you carry an egg with so much care. That's how we are going to treat you. Nanayao, let me come to you. You are the Vice President of the Digital Finance Practitioners Ghana. And I think there are some questions around. So we'll quickly wrap our questions, then our discussion, and then we can take some questions. Nanayao, you are a man. I want you to advise your younger sister. So if a young girl is on this call and is confused as to why they should apply for this opportunity, what would you say to them?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be wondering why this young is still not certain, even after joining this webinar and hearing all the beautiful things that Melissa and Barbara have said about their journey and how it has opened up opportunities for them. I'll tell this young lady that there's boundless opportunities out there. The world is still open. And sometimes some of these opportunities are the catalysts to actually move you to that next level and actually get your career going. There may be some uncertainty, but in life you should be able to take risks and seek out new opportunities. And even as you go on this journey, you know it will be challenging. There may be times when trying to uh, couple this, trying to balance this with other life's demands may be difficult. I think what is important is the mentorship that has been mentioned, looking at those people and trying to be like them, having a very good community or support network amongst yourselves, peers, people who are also taking the course as you are doing, and also having the larger network through the digital finance practitioners that you can support. And we support each other and trust the opportunities would come, and definitely you'd see yourself shine and also be able to push and promote the female equality as well.
Thank you so much, Nanayao. So you heard this from Nanayao. I mean, the opportunities to be in the fintech space are enormous, and this scholarship opportunity is just the right opportunity that you need to take advantage of. Now, Joseph, I'll come to you. Melissa will take the last question, and then we'll hand over back to Tariro. Joseph, so we heard your presentation and your focus, and you slightly touched on the fact that, I mean, based on existing barriers and gender disparities in a lot of things, you are focusing a lot more on women. How important is this female factor to the project, and what is the end game? As we are training them and giving them all the skill sets they need to understand this fast growing sector, what is the end game eventually, and what is that assurance that you can give this young girl so they know that when we do this, we know that eventually this is where it's going to end us? Briefly, and then we can take our last question.
Thank you. So you could see the purpose is that we just don't want to set them up and leave them alone. And partnering with DFI, we could see that those who will get on board will have a scholarship. The end game is to create self-reliant, independent women, young women who are capable of holding their own and also being able to stand up and break the status quo. Young women who in the future could inspire other young women to rise up. You know, our population is growing, have a lot of the women, and if we leave them without taking care of them, then in the future, our economy, we don't have any strong footing. But as we embrace them, we bring them on board, we coach them, we guide them, we create paths for them, then we are creating hope for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joseph. So Melissa, you take this last question and then we can hand over to Tariro. What advice would you give to a young woman who is considering a career in fintech but unsure of her abilities?
I think that there are many examples of very successful women in fintech. And if there's nothing at all to motivate you, just look at the size of the sector. Look at the growth of most of the companies that deliver on these digital financial services, and you would see that you fit in so easily. So I encourage you. You have nothing to lose, really. Take this opportunity, and you'd be impressed at the outcome.
Thank you very much, Melissa. So, Tariro, this is where I hand over to you. Melissa mentioned that you should look at the size of the industry. If you are not even finding anyone, look at MTN Mobile Money, look at Gibbs, look at Vodafone Cash. They keep coming up. Aptel, ExpressPay, all the fintech, they keep coming up every day. So there are a lot of potential in the sector, and we're looking forward to having more fintech girls. Tariro, over to you. And thank you to all my panelists.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
for having us.
Santewa, for that brilliant panel discussion. So I can see some questions are coming up about how they can actually onboard for this program. And I'm going to say that our program coordinator, Asantewa, will be communicating with you. You've given us consent by joining this webinar to have your contact details and sharing with you the criteria, how to apply, and more details on actually how to qualify for a scholarship. And she will determine the number, the cohort size, and where her limits would lie, depending on what she's experiencing when we get to the application process. So the most important thing for you is to look out for that communication from Asantewa, is to email us if you have any questions. And then we'll provide you more information about the project. I'm going to put in this chat info@Digital Frontiers. For now, info@Digital Frontiers. I'm typing it .org. For any questions, I think they will look out for them, but be assured that Asantewa will be in contact with you. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. I apologize. I think I took too much time explaining the course itself, the DFI perspective, but I'm so glad that we all managed to give you the information that we need. We've heard from our partnerships, we've heard from the program coordinator and her panelists. I hope you're motivated to join us in a career within inclusive finance, in a career in fintech. So we're looking forward to your participation in 2025. So please keep in touch, do ask questions, and we will get back to you. So thank you very much, and we'll end the webinar.